All right, chapter 3, section 3, we're solving quadratic equations. We're going to do it by graphing. We're going to do it algebraically. We're going to do factoring, and then we're going to solve some real-life problems. In this video, we're going to focus on graphing so that I can show you the TI-84, and we'll look at Desmos as well. So, when we're graphing, what we're looking for is when y is equal to 0. So whenever we do our equation to graph it, we're going to move everything from one side all the way over to the other and set it equal to 0, just like a is set equal to 0. So a is actually ready for us to go. We've got x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. So what we're going to do is type that in. So on your TI-84 graphing calculator, you're going to go up to y equals. You should be able to see everything in this pane here, and you'll even see what button pushes I have pushed, okay? And in y equals, we're going to type that in. Now, x squared. X is this variable button right here. Squared is right above and up to the left of 7. And then we're going to do minus, and then another x. This is xt, theta, n. That's all your basic variables. It's just the variable button. And then we're going to go minus 6. Now, when we graph, we could push the graph button, but if someone's messed with the window, or if you have zoomed in or zoomed out or changed your window in any way, you're not going to see the graph necessarily. So I always like to go zoom and then number 6. And that does zoom standard. It goes 10 up, 10 down, 10 left, 10 right. And here we see our graph. Now, we can look at it and go, well, it looks like it's at -1, -2. And we can look at it and go 1, 2, and 3. This one actually hits pretty nicely, but if you're looking at the tiny screen, you can't really tell if it's actually hitting at 3 or hitting at -2 or is just left or right. So we're going to look at a couple of ways to be able to find the answer. One way is to look at the table. Okay, it's in blue letters, so we got to push second and then table. And we're looking at a table. And if your table's messed up, there's a little table set right here. You can do second and do table settings and just tell it, you know what, start counting at 0, count up by ones, so I can push down. I can go, okay, I want to count by ones, and then I'm going to go second, go back to the table. So it starts at 0. So I already see 1. We're looking for when y is 0. So we're going to look in the right y column. There's a 0. So our answer is x is 3. Okay, we found one. Now if we look, we got -6, -6, -4, 0, 6, 4, 24. I could keep going down. It just gets bigger and bigger. So I'm going to go back the other way and see if I can find that other 0. Oh, there she goes right there. Y is 0 in there, so my other answer is -2. So that's how we can do that. Now, if you're looking back at the graph, if you want to go back to that, now just push graph. It'll go back to the way you just had the graph. We're going to do what's called calculate a 0. We're going to make the calculator do the work. So push second, and now we're going to push this trace button, which is now the blue word calc. And you can do a lot of things. You can calculate a value, so you can just plug in an x and it'll tell you what it equals. You can find a 0. That's ours. We're going to be finding zeros. We're looking at when y 0. And you can find a minimum or a maximum or an intersect. All of those are different things that you can find, and they're very easy. And on the TI-84 regular, not on the cell phone or iPad, where it's touchscreen and a lot easier, these are the ways you got to do it. So we're going to pick a number 2. You can either go down to it and press enter, or you can just push number 2. Now it asks us some questions. It says left bound. Well, it's looking for a left boundary. It wants to see a little, it wants to narrow the window of where it needs to look, because it's looking at the whole thing going on forever to infinity. So what I like to do is just take this little cursor, go right by where I want to look. So I'm going to look at that left side first, and then I just go left of it a little bit and then set by pushing enter. And I'm going to go back to where I'm looking and go right of it just a little bit and set with enter. And then it says guess and just push enter again, and boom, it gives me one of my answers. So that's only one of them. It only does one at a time. So then I got to go second, calc 2, because I'm looking for zeros. I'm going to go all the way back over here to this one. And then I'm going to go left a little bit, set it, go back to the start, go right a little bit, set it, push enter. There it gives me my other one. You can also type in the x's. So if you know that it's in a really good window, like this one was definitely between 0 and let's say 5. Okay, so I could go second, calc 0, and instead of doing all that click, 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 I could say, okay, go to 0 and set a left boundary, go to 5, set a left boundary, or right boundary, And then, yeah, guess and tell me where it is. So you can do it by typing, or you can do the little arrow buttons left and right, whatever makes you feel better. Now, if I was doing it in Desmos, let's look at Desmos real quick. Let's start graphing. This is desmos.com. If you have it on your phone, I suggest downloading the app so you can do it when you're not connected to the internet. So all you have to do is click in the little bar area. It'll look a little different on your phone. It'll be the graph on top, and it'll be this column underneath it. But just click in that area, and then all you have to do is a little keypad will show up, and just type x, and then use your squared, and then minus x minus 6. And you don't really, you can see the parabola is already there. You should put at the very beginning, back to the beginning, you should have put y equals, because this one doesn't actually have it. But you can see if you don't put y equals, it's still there. The good thing is the graph is highlighted, and then all you have to do is go, oh, there's one, oh, there's one, bam. Desmos is our friend. It's super easy. I probably won't keep showing that one. I'll just keep showing the TI-84 because that's kind of the harder one. All right, so that's our deal. So we can go back to y equals, so we can clear out and get ready for the next problem. So let's look at B. We got negative 2x squared minus 2 equals 4x. It's not set equal to 0. So, like they say right here, add negative 4 or subtract 4x from both sides so that we get negative 2x squared minus 4x equals 2. That's our graph. So negative 2x squared minus 4x minus 2. Now zoom 6. Now look at what's going on there. Now, when I look at this graph, I can't really see what's going on there. So since I did zoom 6, it got the regular standard screen. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. So that's option number 2. And what it does is it creates this little cursor. It's a little plus sign crosshair. Just put it close to where you want to zoom and then just push enter. And every time you push enter for that cursor, it's going to zoom in again and again and again. This is also why I like to do zoom 6 to start with. So it does look like it touches, okay, but only just barely. Okay. So let's go look at the table, see if we can find that 0. Oh, there it is. Look, it should be negative 1. Good. We go back to calc, and we're going to do a number 2. We can do it this way. I'm already really close, so I'm just going to move to the left, set my spot, hold it down, moving over to the right, press enter, enter again. It gets really close. And when it does something like this, you can probably assume to round it up to that next number. So it should be negative 1. If we zoom 6, that'll take us back out to the normal. I can see that it's somewhere between negative 4 and definitely 0. So if I do a calc, I can say negative 4. Oh, whoops, I didn't want negative 4. Let's do calc again. We're going to calculate a 0. If I do negative 4 for my left boundary, and I do 0 for my right boundary, somewhere in that window, bam. And see, this time it gave me a little different answer. That's negative 1.0000. So just round down to that negative 1. Works just like that. You'll need to use that calc feature, especially if it's a fraction or an irrational number inside there. But we shouldn't be solving any irrational ones with square roots as answers with a graphing calculator. We're going to have to do those algebraically with math. But that's how we use the TI-84.